everybody. Hello to you all. And as we just begin this update, I'll just wait, as always, for people to come in. Hello. So, as you each come in, welcome. Hello to you all on the 1st of November. And I'm just going to wait for more people to join. We'll just give everybody a few moments. If you have friends that aren't on Facebook, this will be uploaded to YouTube. Amanda Lawrence. Hello, Melissa. Oh, hello, Melissa. Good to have you here. So I'm just going to wait. As always, I had no idea I'd be doing this today. We just respond in the now moment. And I'm just going to wait peacefully for more to join. Okay. So it feels supportive to make or allow people to have quite clear awareness of what November is going to present outside of you. Sometimes my written posts and my videos can be a little bit too subtle. I guess because I don't shout too much, it can be too subtle, and people cannot quite grasp sometimes what I'm actually passing on. Some people can, some people can't, and there's everything in between, and that's all okay. But my desire is to support in this update really clearly so that the message is clear. And then if that resonates, hopefully it will help you through November. And if it doesn't resonate, then please just leave it be, knowing it's just my perspective in my creation. And that too will be perfect if another person doesn't resonate. They're not supposed to at this time. And that's okay. I'm at complete peace with that always. So just let it be. It's just information, no more than that. Okay. So November, let's start with November. Then we'll go on to the subject of choices. And then we'll save the most fun and, for me, the most interesting till last, which is Dreamtime. Okay? So November. If you were to take the months of this year, November will be the most intense month in the outer reality you have. So whatever is playing out there in your field, outside of this, November is going to be the most intense. That intensity varies depending on the consciousness level a person has come back to, because you were always that consciousness level. You were always a divine spark of source. This is just the game, being human, your consciousness with a human body. So the intensity of November will be seen outside of you. Excuse me. It will be seen. It can be observed. But how each react to it is their choice. And their choices are based on how much of their greater, higher consciousness they've actually embodied at this point of November. And there's no right or wrong. There's no better than. There's no less than. They are just perceptions everybody transcends. The idea that someone is better than you or less than you, they just let go. Everybody will just let go of those ideas, and that's all they were, coming from the personality. So, November. Everyone will experience it via their own state of awareness, via their own perception. So what you're going to witness outside in your reality, in the collective field, so let's take humanity as a whole, and what you see in this film that you get shown, you're going to be shown the intensity that others are experiencing. And bearing in mind the 7.8 billion people on the planet, the vast majority have not awakened. So the vast majority believe that what's outside of them is the only reality, is what's real. But in truth, what's real is what happens inside when you return to being the consciousness that has truly guided you through this experience all along, that many people forgot, and we remember a bit at a time and become that again. That's why we drop so much of the personality and the identity. That was what allowed us the experience in every different way, you know. Every personality is so different to the next. And that's how it was supposed to be. That's how we each experience for the soul. So in the vast majority of people outside of you, the unawakened, that's where the intensity will be. And their intensity, the catalyst for the intensity that they experience, will come from their reaction to the outside. And I stress the word reaction, because at that point they cannot just be. What people will also witness is the awakened community in just labeling 4D. And for those people, they already know, because they have awakened, they already know at varying degrees that that outer is illusion, that it's a holographic reality for source to experience itself. So the awakened know that that outer is not what it seems. But at varying degree within the awakened community, the path then turns inward. And so the intensity for a lot of people in the 4D won't be about what's happening outside in the collective reality. It will feel and occur on a very personalized level. So it will be more of an intimate experience or catalyst that again they get to choose whether to react or whether to be. I hope that makes sense. In other words, once we realize that the outer is illusion, is a holographic reality. We pay less attention to the outer, and we immerse ourselves in our spiritual path. But that spiritual path of 4D that we go through, it's just a journey through it. Nobody's going to stay, although many people have created in there and are kind of cycling in there because they've created things that they're attaching to. But it is a transitory dimensional space where we let go and let go and let go. So for those people, the focus isn't really on the outside. The outside can't really trigger them too much unless they've got a program running that they need to see, such as being locked up. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I'm only giggling because it does become funny. But sorry. If there's a program running within a person, an identity, should I say, then the outer can trigger, for sure. And that, again, is just a belief system to look at and work through and neutralize. But because a lot in the 4D, in the spiritual arena, know that out there they're paying very little attention to, the attention then goes to this. And so it becomes more personalized, more intimate, more intense. And so the triggers that can occur for the awakened community get personal. It can be this person has said that, or this person has done that, whether it's family, friends, partners, work colleagues. But the reaction is more personal. In other words, the catalysts that cause the triggers, the catalysts which are still on the outside, the catalysts are the gifts that trigger the awakened person even more, so that they can look at what's running within them, a program, and neutralize it, dissolve it, their way, whichever way that is. All the while that is happening in November. So it will be happening to the awakened and the unawakened in November. We're already knowing this. We're already seeing this. The point is to know it's going to increase in November, because if you saw the last video and many videos where I talk about the sine wave, we're all headed to solstice on the collective sine wave, which goes down, 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 descending to the winter solstice on the 21st of December. So it is November that the awakened will feel their own intensities, and it will get intense. So to be aware of that now. Be aware now. Let yourself know now that whatever gets presented to you will intensify. And whatever comes, you get a choice. You can be reactive, which is the personality, the identity reacting to the catalyst that presents. Or you can just be. Just observe. Be in your own inner balance. This November is the choice point for everyone across the planet. But they choose based on their perception, based on their consciousness level, based on their ability to know more about themselves. So there's no right or wrong choice in November. Whatever you see, however you feel, whatever another person says or does, there is no right or wrong choice, because above all of that meaning, all of those different definitions, the personality gives to everything. Above the personality those perceptions don't exist. They only exist through having this overlay that kind of shrouds the consciousness that you are. That consciousness that you are does not have the definitions and the perceptions and the judgments and the ego. It doesn't have any of that. And that's the whole journey of dissolving all of that away so that you end up as the pure consciousness that you already were. That's always guiding each and every individual facet. So the choice in November is this. That was 2014, the vision. I'll put this on in the comments section after the live. But if you can see that the Gaia here, let's say there, divides into two. And that isn't a physical division, it's a choice point. To love or not to love. To be love or not to be love. That's the choice in November. And every reaction every single being makes in every single moment is actually based on that. So when another reacts to you, they will either be love in that moment to you, or they will have forgotten love in that moment. And likewise, as ourselves, if we react to another or a stimulus or a situation, an event, in our own moment, we will either be being love or we will be in forgetfulness of what we truly are. So we will not be being love. And that is exactly where we are. Waited a number of years since that vision for this to be taking place. But you'll notice that there's a red cross in the middle of it, because this was all animated when it was given in vision form. Once we've gone through that stark division intensity in November, it is the gateway on the 21st of December that the vast majority that have chosen love go through. Now you can label that gateway any way you like. Some people would call it the gateway of Christed consciousness. There's all sorts of perceptions even when you call it that, which I don't want to absorb. But gateways are based on frequencies. I get shown them as light nodes, and when we become the same frequency as the gateway, as the light node, when we match its frequency, the light node, it's like doors in a way. The light node opens up, our consciousness can travel through. But you can explain gateways in many, many, many different ways. That's just my way, okay? Some people have already passed that stage. There's not many in comparison to the whole population that have already gone through that gateway last year. If anybody looks back to the videos last year, it was about that gateway and that it remains open. And that many wouldn't go through it, but they would later. And so the vast majority of awakened go through it this year. And then begins a whole 9 months to a year of having gone through that gateway, where they then get to experience more, but it's far more from within. So next year, for the vast majority of awakening, will be entirely different to this year. be more about how they're experiencing on the inside, and that way they understand the outside. So it's about allowing over November, allowing each their experience as you witness the intensity outside of you in your dream. Whether they are family members, awakened or unawakened, whether they are your friends, whether they are your partner, work colleagues, to remember this, that no matter how it looks, every single one of them has chosen their experience. If there was one thing I could leave you with today, it's to allow each their own experience. Because in forgetfulness, so many judgments can be made that just aren't necessary. In forgetfulness, people forget that that person suffering, struggling, projecting, losing it, they're also a soul, a pure soul. And that soul has chosen to come in to this timeline and have their very own individual experience. It's not for any to interfere with another soul's experience. And yet the intensity that we are going to witness in others, as well as perhaps ourselves, has already been chosen by each soul. To interfere with another's path, just ask, who is it? Which aspect of me is interfering with another's path? Which aspect of me is interfering with somebody's life? Which aspect of me is interfering with somebody's choices? And that aspect that interferes is actually part of the personality and the identity, and is choosing to interfere from the part of the program that we call the ego. Here's what I really want to say, because it's so true, it's so pure, it's so true. And you know this when you experience it yourself, is that love is all allowing. It just is. It has no desire to interfere with another, because it sees through the eyes of love. It hears through the ears of love. Love is one thing. It has no other perception of being that one thing. It just is love. And so love, when we are love, there is no interference. There is honor, just allowing each their experience with no desire to put them right, no desire to tell them what to do, no desire to shut them up and tell them not to speak. Look at the thousands of years when one way or another people were suppressed, were not allowed to express. And so if you're in a situation, in your reality, where you're witnessing something, you get to choose. Every single one of us gets to choose whether to be love in that moment honoring that soul that is already pure love, and playing a part in an identity, in forgetfulness, in the personality, to just allow them their journey. Isn't that what you truly want others to do to you? To allow you your journey, to allow you your voice, to allow you to make your own decisions and not be told what to do. That's kind of what we're going to witness in November. And it may seem chaotic. It may go into turmoil in 3D, and it will in 4D. There's going to be projections all over the place. It is what it is. But there's a more beautiful design behind it all. And that is, everything out there is a catalyst. It's serving as its own catalyst for each and every individual on the planet to reflect back in. So as we go in November, that intensity will increase everywhere, and I'm only going to do what I'm shown to do in the now moment, but there's this thing that keeps coming in for at least 6 weeks now, which is just that I desire to support as and when called, and it's feeling more and more intense within me as a feeling, not as a thought. There's no ideas to it. It's just a knowing that to be or hop on, not as words, not as explaining this or that, but just to hop on here to help people come back into balance. And that might be through no words whatsoever, or it might just be through a few words, but with the one intention is to help people come back into balance. Because if they're then in balance, if they're then in a neutral field, they can then go away and make another choice, the highest choice for themselves. Which actually takes me on to choices. What we're going to witness in November is that choice point to be love or to not be love in each and every moment. And that's what we'll witness in everyone outside of ourselves. The choices that each of us make are made from different aspects that are predominant at the time. Bearing in mind, we're always doing this. Every consciousness, every human being is doing this in terms of their energy. We never stay the same energy. Okay, we don't jump up and then stay that energy. Energy flows. So we're always moving into different frequencies of experience for the consciousness. Some of those choices will be made by people using the logic of the mind, the logic of the processor. So some people will be making decisions from their mind. Some people will be making decisions based on the ego, based on the ego's reaction, because the ego is a mini program that desires to protect. Okay, that's what it is. We can see it in the animal kingdom as part of their DNA, which is this inbuilt program that allows them to protect themselves from being killed or harmed from something outside of themselves. But for humans who are a more evolved consciousness, that ego program is still designed to protect. And so sometimes people can make decisions being in the ego, being in protection mode. Some people will make decisions in November This is quite a big one, although I say it quite subtly. Sorry. Some people will make decisions in great imbalance. And when any of us have experienced imbalance, and we all have, and the ascension itself takes us more and more and more into balance. But when we make decisions and choices in imbalanced mode, it's us in delusion. So we're using thoughts in here that are in delusion within the illusion. I hope that makes sense. And so we will witness people having all sorts of thoughts that don't make any sense. But they'll be making those choices because they are literally feeling imbalanced in terms of the energies that are running within them. So there's a lot that we will witness, and there's a lot that people will feel. That's kind of why I'm trying to at least allow you to know what November will be like. Some people will perhaps reach such states that they will want to choose to leave. And some people will reach their natural point, soul choice of leaving, whether that is through age or illness, etc., etc. So to just be aware of November. And as and when I am called to, I will. Okay. Yeah, sorry, it's just the farmer's bringing some post. Bless him. Yeah, as and when called to, I will hop on to be as much support as I can be. But I don't see it as being too talkative. I see it as more energetic support that I can be. Because I only truly support now, and have done for months, in a verbal way, because that has to be the communication system for now to get the information across. In truth, I don't want to speak. I want to be energy, and that's where everybody is ultimately headed to anyway, as it's just expanding in energy. I want to talk just to blow a belief system out the window for many that it may help. I want to talk about the belief system of judgment. I haven't seen or read anywhere so far what it truly is. And so I want to assist and hold you by telling you, explaining to you what it truly is, to bring you peace. Because when we awaken, we read, we hear that we shouldn't go into judgment. And so then, when we do go into judgment, we kind of feel bad, maybe during the judgment or after the judgment. And then we beat ourselves up for judging. And then an ego will beat somebody else up for judging. So but it's funny. So it's only funny when it becomes funny. It's yeah. Sorry, it's just quite a giggler, really. Okay, focus. Okay, judgment. Let's blow it out the water. Let's bring everybody peace about judgment. all judgment is that they are searching for meaning. So a person can judge another, or even a circumstance or event. Or say it's me, okay? All I'm doing is searching for meaning outside of myself. That's what judgment is. It's part of the crystalline program. It is neither right or wrong to judge. But what helps is to understand what judgment truly is. In judgment of this and that, we, in our ascension, are searching for ourselves. That's the truth. We're searching for meaning, understanding, definition of our self. What we can do is judge also ourselves, inwardly, quietly, openly. And in judging ourselves, beating ourselves up, we are ultimately still searching for meaning and understanding of ourself. I keep meaning to watch the film A Wizard of Oz. I keep telling myself, watch it, because it would be a giggle to watch it. I haven't seen it since a child. But this parallels to judgment and understanding judgment. Because we awaken. But there are actually two awakenings, by the way. There's the awakening into that is all illusion, and then there's the awakening into being consciousness itself. But when we awaken the first time and realize that this reality isn't what we think it is, we search for meaning. And so we search and search with this, the processor. It's actually the crystalline program that we call the processor, the mind, that allows us to search. So we use the mind, we use the program itself to search. What for? And this is the Wizard of Oz, right? What for? For itself. So we go on the yellow brick road. We experience the mind. We experience all whatever the Wizard of Oz holds, because I can't remember the story. But what we come back to is not the mind. What we end up being back to is the consciousness. Our consciousness, your consciousness, that designed it all in the first place. So we hear in the spiritual community, you shouldn't judge, no judgment. And then what people do is they judge the ones that are judging. You hear that again. In the spiritual arena, people will judge the people that are judging. And all anyone is doing is trying to find meaning. That's it. So there's this big thing about judgment where people will say, oh, no judgment, but, and then what follows is a judgment. And the no judgment, but, is to say to the outside, oh, I'm not judging, so please don't judge me for judging. Right? In other words, by saying no judgment, they're trying to hide the fact that they're judging. Or, I'm not pulling anyone to pieces, but, or I'm not naming any names, but, or, yeah, it goes on and on. There's all these ways of the personality trying to hide what it's actually doing. How about just owning it? How about just owning and seeing and opening up judgment? and seeing the greater truth, because there's always higher and higher and higher truths until we get to the point where we know there's no meaning. Again, the Wizard of Oz and Dorothy. We get to the point where we know, and we bash through all these belief systems, including the one about judgment, until we realize there's no meaning. And then at that point, at the point we become the consciousness that doesn't give meaning to anything or anyone, there is the absence of judgment then. So just allow the steps, allow the judgment to come. But to know what it is not a bad thing or a good thing. It just is. In that 0 point, it just is. But what is it? It's you searching for yourself. You searching for your consciousness, basically, in simple terms. Don't judge judgment. And not to judge the judgment in another person. I mean, when you see, you see, and there's no right or wrong. Everyone is literally confused in that moment of judgment, where they judge outside of themselves, they judge another or situation, or they judge themselves. In that moment, they're confused. They're in their identity, they're in their personality, they're not in their higher consciousness. They're just confused and they're trying to find themselves. And that is the design. To find out what you are, not who you are, it's what you are. So I just wanted to blow that one out the window, because I just keep seeing it everywhere, and you know, it's just another belief system. Allow it to arise. And then, you know, if it's you judging or you hear someone else judging, if someone else is judging, it's none of our business. But if we're judging, it's like, well, why am I judging them this way? What do I feel? Go into how it feels. What do I feel? Because there's a feeling behind the judgment, you see. And there's your little doorway into opening up more of yourself. Okay. Also, not just November, but this is there anyway. It's there all the time. Just the last point before we talk about Dreamtime. But to be aware of it in November. Be aware of it in November. Be aware of when your energy drains down. The only time the energy can drain down is if we're in the personality, in forgetfulness, if we're in the identity. When we're in a state of just being consciousness, there's no energy drain. But bearing in mind, this whole film, this whole story is about us all waking up, just like Sleeping Beauty, waking up. And so we go on this journey. And there are going to be situations where you feel drained of energy. So start to become aware. Start to observe yourself. And then choose, make a choice. Is this serving me? When does your energy start to dip? Be aware of it. Why has it dipped? It's about honoring your energy. Choosing what to give your energy to. And that is a huge biggie, because what you give your energy to predominantly creates your reality. So if you're giving your energy to something in the news, the media, and you're giving every day your energy to that, you're allowing that to be your reality. You're creating more of it the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And it's the same with people. who 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 you give your energy to, how much you give your energy to them. Who drains you in your personality mode and forgetfulness, and who expands you in your personality or identity in forgetfulness. To become aware of that, so that you're living with more conscious awareness of your energy and how it works, how it contracts, how it expands. Because ultimately everybody is learning to become their own responsible creators, each and every one of us. So if you're allowing something and allowing something and allowing something just because you know, how will it be perceived if I don't allow it? You're just immersed in your own illusion, in the dream itself. You're allowing that to dictate to you. You're allowing that to have more power than you are giving to your own dream itself. By your choices. It's okay. It's your dream. It's your creation. And that's what each is remembering, to master it. So to become aware in November, when there is going to be more intensity in your fields, maybe just write it down. How does my energy feel? Have I just drained down in forgetfulness? Do I feel expanded in forgetfulness? Because the truth is, when we are just being conscious awareness, there's no drain. It's neutral. Okay, I'm going to have a little drink of water, and not used to this much talking. And then finally, let's talk about Dreamtime, because it's so exciting. I can't wait. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and I've been waiting for the right moment. So this part could help everyone. Doesn't matter whether they're on a path or not. It would still help everybody. So we'll just have a little sip. Okay. Consciousness, the brain, Dreamtime. When we were asleep, X amount of neurons in the brain were active. When we awaken, neurons fire up, hit the next neuron, and step by step, over years of linear time, which is speeding up for people that are awakening now, but over years those neurons connect in the brain, which means that the actual physical brain itself, whereas you could say we utilized X amount % of the brain, a highly awakened person will exercise more of the brain. I would say drop any idea of the word intelligence as in IQ. It doesn't mean they're more clever. It doesn't mean they're more intelligent. No, what it means is the brain itself can access higher wavelengths. Bearing in mind, everything is made of light and vibration. So the more we awaken, so many parallels happen during our awakening. No wonder it's over time. But so many parallels happen, and one is that the neurons in the brain fire up and then connect, turning on dormant parts of the brain. That allows the actual processor to be able to pick up and interpret clearly higher frequency wave formations. So just like a dog can hear high-pitched sounds, but we humans can't. Does that mean high-pitched sounds don't exist? No, of course they exist. The dog can hear them, right? Same with birds and seeing and dolphins and whales. there's all different types of capabilities. The ascension is about becoming a higher frequency, and that includes the brain altering a little bit at a time. So let's relate that to dream time for everybody. When we're unawakened in that mainstream that we think is real, there's only so much of the brain switched on, which means there are many higher frequencies we cannot interpret. The brain just can't process them. Does it mean the brain is receiving them? Yes. Does it mean the brain can interpret it into a sight, experience, language, meaning that the human can understand? No. But as we awaken more and more and more, and those neurons get turned on and joined and start relaying more and more throughout the body, not just the brain, just starts in the brain, the brain is able to interpret higher frequency wavelengths. So, in dream time, we know when we were unawakened that we would experience dreams at night that didn't make any sense, that seemed all jumbled up, that would flick from one scene to another, wouldn't have any meaning, and we'd wake up and say, oh, I had a weird dream last night. It's weird. Ugh, whatever. Okay? Could be a nice weird, could be a horrible weird, whatever. That is the brain not being able to interpret the wavelengths that carry data information. So let's fast forward to a highly awakened being that is advancing higher in frequency into the consciousness they already are. It's the consciousness that's giving in the wavelengths to the brain. And so as our brain evolves and is able to pick up higher frequencies, what that means for the human interpreting is the dreams become clearer and clearer and clearer. So we do go through the phase, okay? It's not just like one and then the other. We go through the phase of not really understanding our dreams. They're weird, they're trippy, whatever. And then we might have a dream that's really clear. And then we have another silly sort of dream that doesn't really make sense. And then we'll have another clear one. There are many different types of dreams, and the only real common denominator between all of those different types of dreams that make sense, don't make sense, is our ability to interpret them. It's all data from the consciousness that you are, this white light facet of consciousness that is giving signals out via light and vibration. And one by one, we get to interpret more and more and more via this processor. So the more you awaken, the more you work through your stuff, the more you work through your distortions and the belief systems, the more you come into the now moment, the more you drop all of this incessant thoughts throughout the day, the more you come into more of this, okay? The more you come into balance. It all happens all in parallels, but the more your dreams become your very own communication system, direct from your pure conscious facet. So as we go along together as a collective, everybody across the planet will start to receive and experience clearer and clearer and clearer dreams. Those dreams are your very own personalized, and I don't like the word personal anymore, but anyway, you get what I mean, personalized communication system, guidance system from the facet of white lighted consciousness that you are. You see, your higher consciousness doesn't speak linear language. it communicates in wave form and light form. Waves are the communication system between different nodes of lights or different rays. Waves vibrate and communicate between the light. Now, the reason I'm mentioning dreams now, excuse me, is because of our collective timeline. And this has been happening already a little bit, but it's going to become widespread throughout the world, whether a person is asleep or awakened. And this is intentional greater design. So this is the design that is behind everybody's experience or perception or identity or personality, is that people across the planet in the timelines ahead will receive very, very similar dreams. And so this dream time and the dreams that we're capable of receiving individually for our personal path become a mass communication system. And when you get hundreds of people in the unawakened community receiving very similar dreams that are very clear, it serves as their guidance system. And then when they hear of another person having a very similar dream, it's like it pacifies the mind, basically. It pacifies the human. And so there's this beautiful design that we've always had called Dreamtime that is going to become a greater communication system for humanity to listen to. It's beyond the personality. It's beyond personality intervention, beyond manipulation of the personality of human beings on the planet. It allows people to see truths. It's just beautiful the way it's going to unfold. And this is just part, by the way. Dreamtime is just part of how it unfolds. It's not everything at all, but it's part of it. And the reason I'm mentioning this now is because it's about being aware of your dreams. Keep having an awareness of your dreams, and if you get woken up in the night to a very clear dream, to write it down or put it on your recorder on your phone and just record it, because sometimes when you wake up in the morning, the exact detail of that dream can be lost. Because literally when we wake up in the morning to get up, what we're doing is transcending, descending down into consciousness until we've all risen up to our consciousness. And so some of the data gets lost. So to become aware of your dream time, make a note of it. You don't have to understand what it means, but if it's a clear dream, it is communication from your higher conscious to you. And it's to be aware of and trust it. Because in the times ahead for the mass collective humanity, many are going to receive very, very similar dreams to each other. And it's going to be massive. It's going to be one of those areas that assists the change. Can't be denied. And that's what I love about where we're headed, is it can't be denied. So that's what I love, because I've been so patient in wanting everything to be genuine. When you come from being genuine, and you just want that greater good for everybody, so that they can have the life and live the life they want. And it's all different for everybody, but to actually have transparency, to lose all the manipulation, and that's when people will start to come together and realize the greater and greater and greater truth behind it all. Okay, I'll shut up now. That's enough talking for one day, and be aware of the dream time. And if you have people in your family that are unawakened, encourage them. If it feels right, don't just lay into them. But if it feels right, if it arises in a conversation, just to encourage them to make a note of their dream time, and to pay attention to it. You do. It's about non-interference with people's lives and experiences. But if they bring something up, that's the point that you can speak to them, because something is arising within them that they're wanting to talk about. And that's the difference between support and intrusion into a person's field. Intrusion into their path is people will ask when they're ready. They're inquisitive, aren't we all? So that's what the brain does, is it goes along that yellow brick road, and people will ask or reach out when they're ready to. And it's just knowing to just be there when they do. And to not allow the ego to interfere. That ego desires to, say what it needs to say. And there'll always be backlash if the person isn't ready to hear it, or if it should not have been said because it's actually interfering with somebody's soul path. So I better shut up, because I could probably talk forever. And time to go silent and be quiet. I just say finally, actually, on that point of being silent and quiet, the messages I'm receiving are increasing a lot at the moment. So just remember that to ask yourselves, if you're asking a question, who is it? Which aspect of you is asking the question? Is it your personality, identity? Is it your mind that wishes to know? Is this something you do need the answer to? Because quite often the program itself asks questions that are completely irrelevant to the now moment, which is where your consciousness wishes you to return to, so that you can live in a completely different way to the old way of human. So just awareness that I won't answer all the messages, because sometimes if I did, I would spend the whole of my day on Messenger, and I know I have to honor myself and not drain myself down just because my heart wishes to support people. We do have to become energy aware and listen to our energy and how it feels, which might mean going for a walk or having a sleep. It's not about being on Messenger the whole day, every day, just because we're in the greatest awakening of our lives. Okay, so just enjoy yourselves, and please understand if I don't return your messages, it's because I need to be somewhere else at that point in terms of my path, and the space here is just that's what it's about for everybody, honoring what shows up for you in the moment and doing that and being okay with it. It's okay for you to respond to you. That's exactly what each and every one of us are doing. We're showing up for ourselves again. And when we do what is in highest alignment for ourselves, it's actually in highest alignment for the whole and for this collective ascending timeline. into the golden age. God bless you all. I hope some of that's helped. And if not, please just leave it be. And I send you love. And we'll pop on, as is called, in November to support in whatever way shows up for me to do it. Okay. Keep going. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and it's very close. So, lots of love. God bless everybody. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.